properties region have a shortcut assigned to toggle between hide and show. But why would you hide them? Position. To flip a region from one side to the opposite, press F5. While the region is under the mouse pointer, the header can also be flipped by right mouse button on it and select the appropriate item from the pop-up menu. If the header is at the top, the item text will read flip to bottom. And if the header is at the bottom, the item text will read flip to top. I feel like... Is it better if I flip that to top? Because look, here it's at the top, and then here it was at the bottom, and I just feel like it's counterintuitive that some of it is at the top, and some of it is at the bottom. I feel like it's more intuitive to me if it's all consistently at the top, you know what I mean? I like this better, I do. I do like this better. This makes a lot more sense to me. But the problem is this a default now? Like if I close this. Yeah, quit. And then if I open it again. It doesn't save. Alright, so let's say if I flip the top there, and if I flip the top there, how do I save the UI? How do I... User preferences, save user settings, override startup file preferences, save user. How do I save? Also, this should be flip to top. Actually, no, flip this to bottom again. How do I start a file? So if I save this, and I go File, New, reload startup file. No, it just puts it back down on the bottom again. Oh man, everything is saved on a per file. How do I change? Oh, save startup file. There you go, save startup file. Yes, okay, save startup file. Alright, good. So, alright, we made a small change to the default UI. And I think I prefer this. It might be a bad idea. It might turn out to be a bad idea in the long run. I feel like I prefer this. Although, I mean, we can also just get used to this. Let me just put it back for now. We're spending so much time on the UI. We haven't made anything yet. Like there's a huge cliff. There's a huge learning cliff at the start of Blender. You have to learn so much before you even start using Blender. I can't believe it. Anyway, alright, next. Tabs and panels. Tabs. Tabs are overlapping sections in the user interface. The tabs header can be vertical, tool shelf, or horizontal, properties editor, user preferences. Vertical tabs can be switched with the wheel within the tab header, and control wheel changes tabs from anywhere in the region. Sure. Panels. The smallest organizational unit in the user interface is a panel. Panels can be collapsed to hide its contents. They are used in the properties editor, but also, for example, in the tool shelf and the properties region. In the image on the right, there are 3 panels: transform, edit, and history. The edit panel is expanded and the other 2 panels are collapsed. This is a history panel, guys. Where is that? Where is the history panel? Oh, here. Undo and redo is there. There's no undo and redo. Is there? View, add object. Undo and redo. Oh, here. Object, undo, redo, object history. Okay. And you can repeat last and so on and so forth. We're learning so much. We haven't done anything yet, but we're learning so much. Collapsing and expanding. The triangle on the left of the title shows the expanded triangle and collapsed triangle state of the panel. A click with the left mouse button on the panel header expands or collapses it. Pressing A expands or collapses the panel under the mouse pointer. Why would that be a keyboard shortcut? Look. Look. For A to do anything, you have to be there. Like, A doesn't do anything here. Oh, it does, never mind. So you either mouse over it and A, or you mouse over it and click. It doesn't really save any motion because you click A, click A, click A. The click and the A is the same thing. It doesn't save you any time. Why would this be a keyboard shortcut? I mean, there's something to be said about giving a user too many options. There's too many options. Why would that be a keyboard shortcut? Why do you need that to be a keyboard shortcut? Like moving the mouse there and pressing A, or moving the mouse there and clicking is literally the same thing. A controlled left mouse button click on the header of a specific panel will collapse all other panels and make this the only expanded one. Dragging with the left mouse button over the headers will expand or collapse many at once. Okay. I don't know, like, if any of you use Blender, I don't think any of you do. Nobody uses Blender. Well, some people do, but if some of you are like Blender pros, I just want to like do a survey. How many of these tools do you actually use? Like, how many of these shortcuts do you actually use? Like, what percentage of these shortcuts do you actually use? You can change the position of a panel within its region by clicking and dragging it with the left mouse button on the grip widget on the upper right corner. This. Okay, great. Pinning. Often it is desirable to view panels from different tabs at the same time. This has been solved by making panels pinnable. A pinned panel remains visible regardless of which tab has been selected. You can pin a panel by shift-clicking its header, or by right mouse button clicking on the header and choosing Pin at the context menu. In the image shown on the right is an example of the mesh options pinned in the Tools tab, and there's no image. What? We can... No, hold on, don't do that. We can pin. So now if we do this, transformer is still there. That's okay. I mean... Sure. Zoom. The zoom factor of a whole region with panels can be changed by control middle mouse button, the middle mouse button which I don't have. Clicking and moving the mouse anywhere within that region, or use the number pad plus and number pad minus to zoom in and out the contents. Pressing Home, Show All will reset the zooming at the screen panel focused by the mouse pointer. What does that mean? I mean, that zooms in that. Oh, you can zoom in. You can zoom in this stuff? You can make this bigger? Alright. Sure. Alignments. The alignment of the panels in the Properties editor can be changed between vertical and horizontal. To do this, click with the right mouse button somewhere within the main region of the Properties editor. and choose either horizontal or vertical from the appearing menu. Keep in mind though that the panels are optimized for vertical alignment. Wait, what? Change what? Wait, what? Never mind, I'm never gonna do it. It's something I'm never gonna do. Buttons, operation buttons. These are buttons that perform an operation when clicked with left mouse button. They can be identified by their gray color in the default color scheme. Text field and search field. Text fields have a light gray background and a darker outline. They hold text strings and provide the means to edit it by standard text editing. Search fields show a magnifying glass icon on the left side. Start typing in the field to search. Only items with matching text will be shown. For text fields with an icon and a gray pop-up, see Data ID. Color buttons. The color buttons store a color value shown in its background. Left mouse button color buttons opens the color picker. Color buttons with an alpha channel are divided in half. On the left the color is shown without alpha channel, and on the right the color with an alpha channel drawn over a checker pattern. The colors can be drag and dropped. Sure. Menus. Blender uses a variety of different menus for accessing options and tools. I've noticed some of them. Header menus. Most headers exhibit a set of menus located immediately next to the first editor type selector. Header menus are used to configure the editor and access tools. All menu entries show the relevant shortcut keys, if any. Which, by the way, let's look at this. Every single thing has a shortcut key, pretty much. Every single thing has a shortcut key. Well, these don't. That's curious. Lamp, camera, speaker, empty lattice, armature, text. That is fascinating. Fascinating that this stuff doesn't have shortcut keys. It's a lot of shortcut keys, by the way. So, oh crap, I just touched the mic. So this stuff doesn't have shortcut keys. I mean, the thing is, it's really amazing. Once you know, like, what you're doing. Because look, like there's Python scripts too. Like when you look at these things, there's Python, BPY, ops, object, lamp, add, type, sun. So stuff like this, you can use scripts to add this stuff dynamically if you want to. So the sheer amount of customizability and flexibility is truly astounding. Also almost impossible to learn because it's so complex. Right, collapsing menus. Sometimes it's helpful to gain some extra horizontal space in the header by collapsing menus. This can be accessed from the header context menu. Simply right mouse button and click on the header and enable it to collapse. Why would you do that? Like here, for example, you can header collapse menus. Oh, there's more stuff on the other side. Wait, how much stuff is there? Not that much. Well, I mean the search bar is kind of hidden over there, but you can't find it. Never mind. All right, well, interesting. Select menus. The select menu or short selector lets you choose between a set of options. They can show a text and/or a icon. The options are shown in a pop-up. The select options is then shown as active. The 3D view mode select menu. Viewport shading pop-up menu. This thing rendered. It's a gray box. Material. wireframe, solid. Viewport shading, alright, cool. Alright. Pop-up menus are overlays. They are spawned by menus showing up and down triangles on the right after a key or after a key input at the mouse position. If the content is too large to fit on the screen, small indicator triangles appear. When moving the mouse over them scrolls the pop-up. For example, the viewport shading button will produce a pop-up menu with the available shading options. Mouse selection or numerical selection. Can you run Blender with just the keyboard? It seems like you can't run it with just the mouse. But can you run it with just the keyboard? Maybe that's what it is. They've made a 3D modeling program where it's actually possible to just use the keyboard. Because there's a 3D cursor. I don't know, maybe. Shortcuts. Use wheel while hovering with the mouse. Arrow keys can be used to navigate. Each menu item has an underlined character which can be pressed to activate it. Number keys or number pad can be used to access menu items, where 1 is the first menu item. For larger menus, out 1 is the 11th, up to out 0 the 20th. Press enter to activate the selected menu item. See what I mean? It feels like you can. So 1, 2, 3. So let's say 3. Oh, it's from the bottom up. Never mind. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 out 1. And then point light. We just added a point light. There. Maybe you can use Blender with just the keyboard. But why? but why would you do that? Context menus are pop-ups open with the right mouse button. Only the common options are listed below. Single sets or gets the value of the button under the mouse pointer, or on the other hand includes all combined options, or all other combined buttons. Reset all single to default value. Or context is unset to do. Alright, it's not done yet. Copy data path, copy to selected, add shortcut, change shortcut, remove shortcut, online manual, online Python reference, edit source, edit translation. So what you can do is, for example, right click there, online manual, and you get the help for meshes. Pretty good? Pretty good. That is pretty good. So you can click on pretty much anything. An online manual. Alright, well that's handy. That's handy. That's actually really handy, right? So anything you don't understand, anything at all you don't understand, you just click on it. Like marker, online menu. What is a marker? Markers, animation, markers. Markers used to denote frames at which something significant happens. Markers can be given names. Walk, jump, sequencer, 3D view, pose marker, and marker. Amazing. Alright, yeah, just like playing Dark Souls. Just like playing Dark Souls, there's a point in the game where things just click and you realize how it works, and then the game opens up. I think we've reached that point in Blender. Blender really is the Dark Souls of 3D modeling software. Oh my god, alright, I'm just gonna preemptively tell you how disgusted I am when a few weeks from now, I'm gonna tell everyone how, at some point in the future, I'm gonna tell everyone how great Blender is and how amazing Blender is and how much better Blender is than every other 3D modeling software. I'm gonna say stuff like that. I'm probably gonna do it. Just like all you Dark Souls fans. And I will preemptively apologize for that future me when I get to that point. Maybe one of you can just slap me out of it and just say, no, Simon, this is Dark Souls, and Dark Souls is nonsense. I can already see it. Because once you figure it out, I'm sure it's like the best thing in the world. But only after you figure it out. And so, oh my god, I'm gonna be like a Blender hipster or something. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, specials menu. The specials pop-up menu contains a context-sensitive set of operators. It is opened by a button with a down arrow on a dark background or with W in most editors, giving quick access to tools sensitive to the editor's mode. What on earth does that mean? Specials menu? I haven't seen them before ever. What? Where? What specials menu? Pop-up menu contains context-sensitive list of operators. What? What? I've never seen them before. I mean, it's not any of this stuff. What on earth are they talking about? Pie menus. Maybe they didn't see pie menus either. A pie menu is a menu whose items are spread radially around the mouse. Pie menus have to be activated in the user preferences through add-ons UI pie menu official. So this isn't even available to you, but potentially you can have pie menus. Just in case you are making 3D models with a joystick, you can have pie menus. Because you imagine somebody is using Blender with like a 360 controller or like a PlayStation controller or like a Wiimote. Imagine if you're designing with a Wiimote and you're like, well, these menus are cool, but since I'm on a Wiimote, how do I use these menus easier? Oh, I know, let's have a pie menu. So instead of using the normal mouse kind of menu, you have a pie menu with your Wiimote. And you're piloting Blender with a Wiimote. Imagine that. Imagine that. It's possible. I'm sure it's possible. Oh no. Blender. Interaction. The pie menu is spawned by a key press, which are listed in the add-on preferences. Releasing the key without moving the mouse will keep the menu open, and the user can then move the mouse pointer towards the direction of the pie menu item, and select it by clicking. Releasing the key after moving the mouse towards the pie menu item will cause the menu to close and the selected item to activate. An open disk widget at the center of the pie menu shows the current direction of the pie menu. The selected item is also highlighted. A pie menu will only have a valid direction for item selection if the mouse is touching or extending beyond the disk widget at the center of the menu. Pie menu items support key accelerators, which are the letters underlined on each menu item. Also, number keys can be used to select the items. Why? If you're going to use a pie menu, why do you then have numbers? If there are sub-pies available, It is indicated by a plus icon. In case you just want extra pie menus, there are pies within pies. We're not going to use pie menus. I would like to see someone make a model using a Wiimote though. That'd be funny. Toggle and radio buttons. Check boxes and toggle buttons. Okay, this stuff we can understand already. You can drag over them though. Radio button cycling. Okay, this stuff is fairly normal. Number buttons hold numeric values. Number buttons can be identified by the triangles pointing left and right on the sides of the button. The second type number sliders have a bar in the background and are used for values in a range, e.g. percentage values. Both types have round corners. In most cases, they contain a name and a colon followed by the number. The value can be edited in several ways, incremental-decremental steps. To change the value in steps, click the left mouse button on the small triangles, number button only. Dragging. To change the value in a wider range, hold down left mouse button and drag the mouse to left or right. Hold Ctrl to snap to the discrete steps while dragging or Shift for precision input. So like we can change the location of this box, for example, by holding, dragging, and we can control to drag it along numbers or shift to make it smaller. Cool. Great. That's kind of handy. It's pretty handy. Alright, good. Not that one. Text input. Press left mouse button or enter to edit the value as a text field. When entering values by hand, this button works like any other text field. Press enter or left mouse button outside the field to apply the change. Escape will cancel. Tab to jump to the next number button or Control tab for the previous. MultiValue Editing. Number buttons can be edited multiple values at once. Object scale or render resolution, for example. This can be done by clicking on the button and dragging vertically to include the buttons above or below. After the vertical motion, you can drag from side to side or release the left mouse button to type in a value. Really? Down? Crazy. Ooh. So you're gonna rotate those two. Whoa. Rotating. Alright, let's stop doing that. Let's put it back. Alright, put it back. Rotating. Alright, let's stop doing that. Alright, I get it. Alright, cool. Again, like these sort of shortcuts, how often would you use them? If you use Blender a lot, how often do you use that? Is my question. Stop doing that. Limits. Most number buttons have two types of limits imposed on them. First of these is a soft limit. This means that the property cannot surpass the value of the soft limit without having to left mouse button and input the value with the numpad. The second is a hard limit. This is the value that cannot be surpassed even by left mouse button and inputting a value. Why would... Okay, sure. Expressions. You can also enter expressions such as 3 times 2 instead of 6, or 5 divided by 10 plus 3. Even constants like pi or functions like square root 2 may be used. These expressions are evaluated by Python. For all available math expressions, see Math module reference. Python Math, Math Ceiling, Math Copy Sign, Math Fabs, factorials and floors and mods and sums and things. Alright, so anything that Python can calculate can use as a number. Expressions as drivers. You may want your expressions to be re-evaluated after it is entered. Blender supports this using drivers, a feature of the animation system. Expressions beginning with hashtag have a special use. Instead of evaluating the value and discarding the expression, a driver is added to the property with the expression entered. The expression hashtag frame is a quick way to map a value to the current frame, but more complex expressions are also supported. Hashtag fmod frame 24 divided by 24, for example. This is simply a convenient shortcut to add drivers, which can also be added via the right mouse button menu. So let's say, for example, frame. So let's say the X location is hashtag frame. And as we move this to a different frame, it doesn't do anything. Wait, what's going on? No, dude, it's not doing anything. Location? Wait a minute. Hashtag frame is a quick way to access and map a value to the current frame. What? I thought you would just frame it. Just hashtag frame it, and then it'll become the same number as the frame. What? So what does this actually do? Fmod frame. What does that actually do? Apparently nothing. Do I need to keyframe this? Hold on, let me just delete that. 0. What if I keyframe that? No active keying set, dude. Location key. Also run disabled. Driver 0. Location key. And let's say hashtag frame. Auto run disabled. Driver frame. It doesn't do what I think it does, guys. It does not do what I think it does. Alright, never mind all that. I don't know what's going on. The driver's still there. Auto run disabled? Driver, what do you mean auto run disabled? Delete drivers, delete delete drivers. Because like we're changing the frames, but it doesn't change the add all to keying set. I don't know. Alright, I'm gonna reset delete drivers. I don't know what's going on. Sure. Expressions as drivers. Using drivers, a feature of the animation system. Driver variables. Add variable. Oh wait, you have to. Oh no. Okay, it's more complicated than you think. Yeah, it's more complicated than you think, guys. Drivers. Built-in scripted expressions. Okay, it's more complicated than you think. Units. As well as expressions, you can mix units with numbers. For this to work, units need to be set in the scene settings. To use units, simply write either the unit abbreviation or the full name after the value. Expressions of valid units include 1 centimeter, 2 feet, 1 meter, 3 millimeters. 3 feet divided by half a kilometer. 2.2 millimeters times 5 feet divided by 3 inches minus 2 yards. Sure. Some notes about using units. Commas are optional. You can mix between metric and imperial even though you can only show one at a time. Plurals of the names are recognized too, so meter and meters can both be used. Alright. Eyedropper. The eyedropper palette icon or pipette icon allows you to sample from anywhere in the Blender window. The eyedropper can be used to select different kinds of data. Color, this is the most common usage. Objects data, this is used with object buttons such as parent, constraints, or modifiers. To select an object from the 3D view, camera depth. Number buttons affecting distance can also use the eyedropper. This is used to set the camera depth of field so the depth chosen is in focus. Okay, I see. E will activate the eyedropper while hovering over a button. Left mouse button dragging will mix the colors you drag over, which can help when sampling noisy imagery. Spacebar resets and starts mixing the colors again. Again, shortcuts. Extended controls, data block menu. I don't. Preview. Data ID. Okay, might as well read this. A set of menu buttons used to link data blocks to each other. Data blocks are items like meshes, objects, materials, textures, and so on. If data blocks are linked, the data will be updated across all the users when edited. Okay, data blocks. Type shows an icon indicating the data block type. It opens up the following pop-up menu. The data block can be dragged from here, e.g. to drag a material onto an object in the 3D view or into a data ID field. A list of data block available in the current blend file or link in to select an item from. What? The menu may show a preview besides the item and a search box to search the item in the list by name. What on earth is going on? What are they talking about? Data, what? Displays internal name of the linked data block. Data blocks. The base unit for any Blender project is the data block. Data blocks view. Measures objects, materials, textures, node trees, scenes, texts, brushes, even screens. For clarity, bones, sequence strips, and vertex groups are not data blocks. They belong to armature, scene, and mesh types, respectively. Okay, bones are not data blocks. Meshes are data blocks, but vertex groups are mesh types. There you go. Some common characters. The primary contents of the blend file, data blocks. Okay, I mean, so this is like the underlying data structure. Underlying data structure for the blend files, right? So you go data block view. Well, it's not here, is it? Scene. Oh wait, is this how you go add new scene? Oh, this is how you add new scenes. Guys, I found how you add new scene. Oh look, it's a new scene. Look, it's a scene, and then there's scene one. Scene one, scene one. Nice. Alright, let's delete this. Alright, I found after a few hours, I found the how to make a new scene. It's there, guys. You make a new scene. I don't know why it's there though. Why would it not be here? I guess you don't make anything here. This is just selecting things, right? Oh good, we figured out how to make a new scene. I still don't know what data block is, but I'm assuming maybe several days from now I'll figure it out. Preview, data ID, sub IDs. I'm just not going to list views and presets. Lists of items. Group 1. Filter, add color picker. I mean, color picker is pretty self-explanatory. Color ramp widget, which is a gradient basically. You can use B-splines to interpolate the color stops. Just so you want to know. Curve widget. Okay, this stuff is probably important, but I think they're not that important. Operator search. A menu with access to all Blender tools is available by pressing spacebar. Simply start typing the name of the tool you want to refine the list. When the list is sufficiently narrowed, left mouse button on the desired tool to navigate. This is amazing. Spacebar. Everything is available from here. So let's start with E. Let's start edit translation, export, free or physics bakes. Export collider. Add effector. Splash screen. Or EO doesn't do anything. EX. Export object, export X3D, quick explode, export STL, export PLY, export key configuration. Oh, wait. Nope. Add empty image drop image to empty. Add empty. Add empty keying set. Add background image control for empty object. Alright, so every single command you can think of, and every command is available to you, is under spacebar. I keep pressing the wrong thing. Command shortcuts. We're not gonna do any of that. Alright, good. Undo and redo. Redo last. Redo last is short for redoing the last action. F6 after an action will present you a context-sensitive pop-up menu based on your last action taken and the mode and editor in which Blender is being used. For example, if your last action was rotation in the object mode, Blender will show you the last value changed for the angle, where you can change your action back completely by typing numpad 0. There are other useful options based on your action context, and you can not only undo actions, but change them completely using the available options. Right. If you are in edit mode, Blender will also change its contents based on your last action taken. In our second example at the right, the last action taken was a vertex move. We did a scale on a face, and as you can see, the contents of the pop-up menu are different because of your mode, edit mode. So you can redo your last action, but change it to something else. Right. Tip: operations using redo last. Some operations produce particularly useful results if you tweak their parameters with the F6 menu. Take, for example, adding a circle. If you reduce the vertex count to 3, you can get a perfect equilateral triangle. Okay, so let's say we create a circle, and it just makes a circle there, right? But if we redo last, which is not there, surprisingly. But where was it? Didn't we have buttons for it? I swear we had buttons for it. I swear the buttons were here. Tools, so here. Repeat last? No, that's not what I want. Redo last is not even here. That's crazy. But if you press F6, nothing happens. Nothing happens. It doesn't do what you think it does. Undo history. Redo. Wait, there's no redo last. Dude, come on. F6? Panel, operator panel. Hotkey F6. There's no... Operator panel. Delete global. So let me just try this in. Create circle. I mean, it's here. You can change that to 3. Wait, is it just on by default? Change it to 4. We create a square circle. So it's just the operator panel. It's not really... It's just this. Fill type N-gon. Triangle fan, no N-gon. How's that useful? Edit mode. Translate. It's just this. It's just the operator panel. It's not actually anything amazing. Mesh. Extrude. Wait a minute. Extrude individual faces. Oh, there you go. And we turn that into a box. Although we do want to do that. Control, 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 and then flip. And then mesh faces fill. Alright, cool. Look, we made a box. Don't do that. We turned a circle into a box. Although I'm pretty sure, actually no, it's a perfect box or not? I guess it's a box. So then let me go back to object mode. And we'll rotate this by 90. Oh, my bad. Wrong one. Is it Z? Alright, Z. Actually, I want it to be 45, don't I? 45. Although I should probably put the cursor there. Oh, wait a minute. I've, hold on, edit mode. I forgot about this part. So you wanna, this is the origin. You don't want to move it away from the origin. How do I select the whole thing? How do you marquee select? Is of all the things. Let me just do that. Marquee select. What? Blender marquee select. Marquee select on drag and click. Oh, click and drag, please. I don't understand it. Why doesn't marquee select box select work like every single app out there? Box and paintbrush. Just to clarify, you don't have to hold B in just one press. Wait, B? B is box select? Hold on, B is box select. But how would I know that? Select? Oh man, like everything. Ah, here you go, border select and circle select. How do I, wait, why would I, never mind. Let me just move this back to there. How do I edit the origin? Anyway, come back to here and then we can move the origin there. Alright, now we have two boxes. Which, I don't know if that's useful. But we made a box out of a circle. Cool, right? It's possibly cool, I'm not sure. Okay, alright, yeah, okay, good. Border select. Right. Sure. I mean, eventually we're gonna figure it out. Anyway, marquee selection there, done. Undo, redo last. Redo last is just the, it's just the operator panel. It's not, F6 doesn't even work. Alright, undo history, repeat last. And duplicate and move, duplicate and move. Okay, repeat history, notes. Blender uses two separate histories, one dedicated for edit mode and one dedicated for the object mode. When you quit Blender, the complete list of user actions will be lost, even if you save your file before quitting. Right. Next page. Come on, load the next page. So much reading, we haven't done anything yet. But we are learning a lot. We're learning a crap ton. Ruler and protractor. The ruler is an interactive tool where you can drag lines in the scene to measure distances or angles. Optionally, snapping to geometry could be activated for better accuracy or to measure wall thickness. The ruler can be accessed from the tool shelf. Where's the tool shelf? Oh, where's the grease pencil? Grease pencil draw. You can just draw stuff in the world. Okay, it's okay, I see it. Let me just erase the grease pencils. You can just draw stuff in 3D in the world. Ruler protractor. That is 2.77, but oh, it's actually on the face. Amazing. I wasn't expecting that to stick that well. Ruler protractor. Ruler protractor. What do I do this? 1.4. See, but that time it doesn't actually stick there. But if I like look straight down at it, kind of, if I look straight down at it and then ruler protractor, 1.99 or 2, I mean it's not quite straight down. I guess it's more useful on orthogonals. But the grease pencil, you can just draw anything anywhere. Right? So like you can just go can I draw more? I can draw more. Oops. Draw. And it's just ink in 3D. That's crazy. That's so cool. Is it useful? Like how is this useful, right? View cursor surface stroke, convert to basic polygon curve. So what did we actually make is what I want to know. And why are there frames? Why are there frames? I don't even know what this thing is. Delete it. Wait. We also erase. Can we erase all? How do you erase all? Not with that. Well, we have a grease pencil, and we can convert the grease pencil into polygons. That seems interesting. That seems interesting to me. Just have no idea what it is. Usage. Common steps for using the ruler. Activate ruler from tool shelf. Click and drag in the viewport to define the initial start endpoint for the ruler. Orbit the view and click on either end of the ruler to position it. Right. Holding Control enables snap to elements. Click on the middle to measure angles. Click on the middle to measure angles. Press Enter to store the ruler for later use or Escape to cancel. Right. So what you would do is, not that one. Ruler protector. So you want to measure like that to that, right? So let's say we just do this, and then we would, I mean this is obviously wrong. So we take the end of it and move it there. And then we would take the end of it and move it there. And so that's mostly right. We can get the middle and measure angles. That apparently is 71.74 degrees. But you can see it's not, right, because it's doing that. So we move that up there, and we see that it's 85.27 degrees, which is not quite right. When we move that to there, it's 88.91 degrees, which is not correct because it should be 90. Then just take this and press Control. Try to snap that to the corner. Try to snap that to the corner, snap that to the corner. 90.51. It's close. it's close, but not quite right. But you know, what can you expect? All right, there you go. That's kind of useful. All right, grease pencil. Introduction. Years ago, people needed a way to quickly draw on their monitors. They did this with a tool called a grease pencil. This is especially useful for animators who need to add notes directly on their screen. However, not everyone wants to draw on their monitors, so a digital version was made, also called a grease pencil. You can just literally draw on your screen with a grease pencil. You can use the grease pencil tool to draw freehand sketches and annotations in most of the editors. The sketches that are made are saved with the blend file so they can be seen at any time. An advantage over the old grease pencil, however, However, you can also do much more with the digital grease pencil, such as planning animation poses and motion curves, sketching out model topology, hand-drawn storyboarding in 3D, as director's tools to review shots, 2D animations. An advanced use of grease pencil is for different tools, e.g. add-ons, allowing you to draw where the tool is to take effect. So let me just mute this. How do I mute this, by the way? Let me just play this. Grease pencil only, viewport OpenGL. So somebody drew an animation with grease pencil. Okay, well, you can do that. You can do that in Blender if you want. Drawing strokes. Introduction. Enable the grease pencil by clicking Draw Line Poly or Erase from the tool shelf. A new layer will be automatically added for you to draw on. Oh, will? Oh, here it is. Let me delete that because we don't need that layer. How do how do you GP layer? How do you remove? How do you remove the GP layer? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I can't. Wait a minute. Layers. Render layer. No. Render layers world G pencil. Isn't there? What? How do I? G pencil, grease pencil layers. Oh, here? Remove that. Oh, okay. Delete that. Oh, okay, there it is. You delete it there? Really? Why can't you delete it here? I mean, you can delete cameras here. You can delete the circle in the cube here. Alright, anyway. A new layer can be added from the grease pencil panel in the properties region. This panel can also be used to customize the color, opacity, and thickness of the pencil lines. Changes to these settings will affect all strokes on the current layer. Okay, so you can separate the grease pencil drawings into different layers and affect the each layer individually. An example of Blender's grease pencil. Grease pencil sketches can be converted into editable geometry and used to aid the animation process. Drawing, draw, line, poly, erase, additive drawing. With the additive drawing option enabled, the active frame's strokes will be carried over, copied. If you start drawing on an empty frame, e.g. one without any keyframe already, this saves the effort of keeping a dopes sheet open and to remember to duplicate the current frame before starting to draw the next pose, or risk managing to draw the perfect pose but without everything else. This option makes it easy to animate shots when you are building on a result from a previous frame. Examples of cases where this comes in handy include animating facial expressions when all outlines are on the same layer, or animating growing things, vines, concentric circles growing from a central point. Even without this option enabled, this is the default behavior when using the eraser on an empty frame. This makes it easier to do shots where you're just changing parts of the facial expression, or if you're animating any eraser effect. Additive drawing, right. Continuous drawing allows for rapid sketching with the grease pencil when multiple strokes are desired, so that you only have to hold D once for the first stroke. Besides the checkbox, continuous drawing is also enabled if the D key is released while pressing left mouse button. The eraser for one-off strokes right mouse button is still available. Note that with the eraser, both left mouse button and right mouse button can be used when drawing has started. Use Escape or Enter or clicking outside the current viewport. To exit the mode, continuous drawing can be disabled using E key in order to get fast access to sculpt mode.